Now let's discuss the life of Albert Einstein and see how he became one of the most famous mathematician and scientists in the history of our world. He didn't speak until he was 4 years old. But one thing that did come quickly and naturally to him was math. He was also fascinated with physics, a type of science that deals with matter and energy. One of the Albert Einstein's biggest discoveries was this equation: E is equal to mc square. E stands for energy and m stands for mass and c stands for speed of light. On the most basic level, the equation says that energy and mass are interchangeable. It means if you know the mass of an object, you know the energy. It is the same amount. Another discovery made by Albert Einstein is the theory of general relativity. General relativity explains
how gravity works. Large objects like the Earth bend space. The space pressing down on us is gravity. In our solar system, the sun causes the stretchy space to curve, causing the Earth to rotate around the sun. Just like space can be curvy, so can time. Time and space are relative, Mr. Whiskers. They depend on things like the mass of objects around it. Time and space are bendy, and bendy space is how gravity really works. E equals mc squared is all about energy and mass, and general relativity explains how gravity works.
Albert Einstein was also awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics and is widely considered one of the greatest scientists of all time. Now it's time to meet our next famous global scientist, Galileo Galilei. He was an Italian scientist who opened the eyes of the world to a new way of thinking about how our solar system and astronomy in general works. Today, he is known as the father of modern science. For many years, scientists believed that the sun and the planets revolved around the earth. But Galileo was the first scientist to prove that this wasn't actually correct, and that in fact the earth and the planets revolved around the sun. He was very intelligent man and had many great ideas. He also invented an improved telescope so that he could gaze far into space. He was the first to see Jupiter's moons and then realized that our moon was covered full of craters. He also invented the compass and the thermometer. Galileo was such a great scientist and mathematician of the ancient era who solved many mysteries related to our surroundings and also the outer world, and has made our life much simple. Now let's learn about the famous scientist Marie Curie. She was the physicist and chemist and is remembered for her discovery of radium and polonium and her huge contribution to finding treatment for cancer. Children, if you have ever seen your insides on an X-ray, you can thank Marie Curie's understanding of radioactivity for being able to see them so clearly. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize in two different categories, physics and chemistry, and the first woman to obtain a PhD degree from French University. Due to the permanent exposure to radiation, Mary contracted leukemia and died in 1934. But she remains a role model and an inspiration for women in the scientific field.